Well, you do have the caps.
Who will open this meeting
Well, I think
then?
the chair will open it since he's the chair, and then you can.
Okay, that's what I
decide.
figured too.
Then you can decide when Steve takes over as chairman.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, once it's over.
You got roll, or you want to call it?
I can call it. Drain Commissioner Christensen,
Present.
Administrator Janik,
You're present.
Commissioner Lautner,
Present.
Commissioner Wessel.
Here.
All present.
And just for the records, we invited the chairman of the road commission to join us.
Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, we have a proposed agenda. Do we have any late additions or deletions? Do we want to add Public Works as a part of our discussion?
Yes. So is there anything else? I'd make a motion to approve the agenda as amended, adding Board of Public Works to the discussion.
Support. Any discussion? All those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion approved.
I nominate Ty Wessel as chairman of the committee.
We have public comments yet?
I didn't see any public.
Got it in though.
Now we're down to our,
I'll support.
any other nominations? All those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion approved. Well, thank you.
Can we
Yes.
Can we start? Okay. So in thinking about this, because this has always been kind of handled by the road commission, we really haven't had a lot to do with, and I don't really know what they do. So what is the Board of Public Works general duties in a nutshell? What is their general responsibility?
Are we doing that, or are we doing
Well,
that
I'm
first?
going to lead to it leads. So because I'm thinking it kind of ties. But what is their basic responsibilities?
As I understand it, we annually review the financial status of any sewer system, public works system that the county has bonded for and has ultimate responsibility for.
So basically
Report
Northport and Leland.
Leland, as I understand, it's paid off.
Yeah, it's only north.
Also
It's
only till
middle up, yeah.
it's paid for.
Yeah, because then the county does not have any financial obligation.
Okay.
If I can add to that, because
Yeah.
Garth is new and just came up. From my research on it, is when the Northport sewer system project's going on, they asked the county to bond it to get a lower interest rate.
That's correct.
Part of that criteria was there had to be a board of public works set
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Since I've been here, they've been meeting, the only agenda always has been review the Northport sewer bond project payments. And by law, the village and the township have to pay annually. If there's a shortage in the revenue from the sewer, they have to take it from the general fund as their first priority of payment. So really, as far as I'm here, the Board of Public Works really had no agenda other than just to make sure that the bond payments are being made timely. They check with the treasurer's office, and of course, they are being made timely. And that's the only agenda item I've ever seen in 10-plus years here.
Yeah, in almost 2 years now, I've been chair, that's the only item we've had on the agenda, which is one meeting a year.
Yeah, and when I first came in, there was a couple years where they didn't have a meetings. So I have to remind them that by law, they have to have at least one meeting.
Yeah, my understanding is before I became chair, the 2 years prior to that, we didn't have any
Yeah.
meetings.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was hoping that maybe there was a little bit deeper criteria that might make it obvious that these two boards could be the same, but,
Well, in theory, they could be, just same membership but different boards, technically. You can't combine the two, but you could have the same membership, and that's
serve on
exactly what
both.
happened when the dam, I think the dam was being reconfigured fairly in the same time span as the Northport sewer system. And so
yeah.
the Board of Commissioners were told they had to have a dam authority and they had to have a DPW.
Okay,
And that time, they made the decision to go with the current structure, which is basically the same membership.
all right, but let's go back to the dam then, because of all this being said, maybe it makes a lot more sense to have a very small BPW if they just have the one task. So I'll yield now to you.
I wanted to ask you a question on the Public Works. Is there ever a possibility that that would be involved in monitoring assessment districts for the Drain Commission?
I can tell the answer is no. The Drain Commission has complete separate authority. Correct,
How
Mr.
about on an
Christensen?
advisory?
Yeah, that's my answer.
Based on the discussions we've had with our legal counsel, the Drain Commissioner's only position in the state does not have oversight or an appeal board. It strictly is up to the decision of the Drain Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. But would it be good to start with Chet reviewing the email from the attorney so that we
Yeah, and this is,
understand what the attorney-
you see, March 5th, 2019, the discussion about restructuring the dam authority and DPW began in 2018 when there was discussion about the membership of the road commission and whether it should be 3 or 5 or 7. And the board reviewed that and made a decision to go to 5, as you all know. That time, it was brought up that several members of the road commission, when they were running for the office, did not realize that they also serve as the DPW and the dam authority until they won. And all of a sudden, they got notices that they had to be at a dam authority meeting, and they said, well, we didn't even know we're part of the dam authority or the DPW. So that's when the discussion started talking about, would it make sense to get people who have a passion for it? And it's nothing against members of the road commission, but they ran to be on the road commission, not to be a dam authority. And some of the road commissioners have been pretty open that this is not their passion. They serve only because they are forced to serve on it. And and I won't go to the legal opinion because you all have seen it before. It basically gives the Board of Commission the authority to structure the dam authority in any way that they choose fit. So it'd be pretty easy to adjust it, modify it at some date in the future.
Well, he's got A, retain the current composition of the dam authority, or remove the drain commissioner or the road commissioners and appoint any person or number of individuals.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really get to see a hybrid.
Well, that would be part of it, because I talked to,
Yeah.
yeah. When it
It
says
doesn't spell it out, but
individuals,
we
it
can.
could be a road commissioner and a dam authority, or a drain commissioner also. That's strictly up to the board.
Yep. So,
So you really have a lot of
a
flexibility.
lot of flexibility.
Let me just throw this out there to start dialogue.
Okay.
A 5-member board composed of the drain commissioner, 1 representative from the road commissioner, 1 board of commissioner member, and 2 community members at large. That'd be 5-member board. That's just an idea.
Yes.
May I? So if we're going to form that, could we, like say, because we don't really have authority over the road commissioner, maybe we do trump the road commission with this resolution.
And then it'd be up to them to appoint whoever they wish.
Well,
to
where I
the
was
road
going with that is, like, would it be logical to have the road commission's engineer? Does that make
Well-
sense, that the road commission's engineer? Or would we ask, of the 2 members, which would be, I'm guessing just members at large, members at public, would one of those, could we require one of those to be an engineer? So that we had an engineer on this, and I will yield to you on that. What do you think about that?
I'm not sure that the road commission engineer quite really has a background in hydraulics or hydrology.
Okay.
I think in general, it's a good idea to have an engineer on the board. There's 2 engineers on the road commission right now. I would think one of them would likely want to serve on the dam board.
To bring up a very good point in the hydrology. So is that then, and there, I know one of them probably wouldn't be hydrology, but the second one maybe would be. But we could maybe, I don't want to, I'm just talking here, so.
I mean, the drain commissioner also has background in those areas, so, I mean, there would be expertise, assuming that he's on the board. And
Yeah, I
would
think,
it'd be appropriate.
looking forward, I put a bug in John's ear to start looking. I think a retired engineer for a drain commission would be ideal. And that's part of where I was heading with the increase in wage, is to make it something that a retired engineer might bite on. It's turned into quite a job, but anyway, a retired engineer for drain commission would be on the
Oh, I see
dam
what you're
authority.
saying.
That would fit, I think, very nicely. And then having that person be involved with the drain commission automatically throws that person into quite a bit of study about flow of water and sediment and all kinds of things that would lend itself to being part of the dam authority quite naturally.
You could leave that as an option, but not a requirement, because there may not be a retired engineer on the road commission board. But if we specify 2 members at large, one of which must be an engineer and could be also a road commissioner.
Can we get, it's sometimes hard to find people that are qualified as far as basic level expertise. We could probably garner engineering input from other sources rather than having to have it on.
Well, you could say a preference will be given. Doesn't mean it has to be.
Okay.
But you know, there are a lot of retired people in Leelanau County, a lot of people with background. When you look at just like the Lake Association,
Yes.
I know they have a lot of expertise on the Lake Association. If we do it, just say, you know, preference will be given to people with the following background. It gives you the flexibility, you don't find someone. Who knows, there could be someone that has a PhD in aquatics, but is not an engineer.
I
That may
like
come
that.
forward and have an interest.
Yeah, or somebody that's familiar with structures,
Yeah.
because the dam is, it's
Yeah.
a structural item, so.
But if you have at-large members, they have to fill out an application and you can see what their background is.
Yeah, my engineering degree is in electrical engineering, so it's not directly applicable.
Right.
However, the farming background is directly applicable to soil erosion and water flow.
And cylinders and things like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And nothing's to say that, you know, at some point, the Board of Commissioners may have an engineer sitting on the board that would like to serve. We may end up with 2 or even 3
Yeah.
engineers serving, right?
Well, that goes back to my suggestion, and just a suggestion of 5 people. That way, the Board of Commissioners will pick who that one rep is. And I think it'd be good to have a member of the Board of Commissioners on. We had some issues over the years with board members being surprised by what's going on with the dam authority or with invoices coming forward that no one knew about. So I think it would make sense. I think it does make sense to have one member of the road commission involved. And that way, the road commission can pick who that person is. Just like on the Parks and Recs, I believe there's a road commission slot there, but that slot is filled by the road commission. They choose who that person is.
One other thought from my end of the table here, nobody has more stake on the dam than the Lake Association. it could be
I was just gonna say,
preference
yeah.
given to
Oh, yeah.
a member of the Lake.
There could be a slot, yeah, reserved for them. That's true. Good idea. Yeah.
Especially if we end up having to figure out a way to pay for some things, there might be some.
Yeah, that's
special
a very good idea. Because it does
So one
impact
of the
them directly.
slots, perhaps, you think, Jane? So one of the slots could be a preference to,
Lake Association,
lake
Yeah.
association or to
riparian.
a riparian?
Lake Association is more connected, I think, with a lot of the ins and outs of what has to be done with regard to invasives and lake levels, and there's a lot of stuff that gets talked about during that Lake Association meeting, and I think that might be a little stronger than a riparian, but doesn't necessarily have to be, I guess.
The flip side is, I'm just bringing this up because we found this last year during the whole discussion. Only what, 25% of all lake property owners are members of the Lake Association?
That's my point. And I was going to ask if that's
Good
changed,
point.
because I think that there's a whole brand new awareness
Yeah,
too.
but I don't,
And the riparian, if they, what's the name, word I'm looking for, grouped or bonded together, they're more than the Lake Association. And they
Yeah.
seemed quite knowledgeable when
I
they
mean,
spoke, so.
as you remember, a couple of people came forward and said the Lake Association does not speak on our behalf,
Right.
nor are majority of lake owners part of the Lake Association. But we could have it, since it directly impacts Lake Leelanau,
A riparian.
yeah.
And that
yeah.
riparian may be a Lake Association member,
Yeah.
but they would be representing all the riparians
The
and
more
not
I-
representing the Lake Association.
The more I think about it, that may take some of the politics out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If we strictly say member of the Lake Leelanau Lake Association, if their numbers are correct, we're excluding 75% of the lake
I like
property
that.
owners.
Good point.
So rather than two members, one of those would be a Lake Leelanau riparian.
Well, I would say, because you want flexibility,
If
I'd
you're
say
a-
it's two at large, but priority will be given to
Riparians.
and someone with engineering background, for example,
Okay,
just because you talked about that. It doesn't mandate it, but gives you flexibility, and people applying know that these are the priorities.
okay, well, we'll take it to the board for discussion, and
They just-
I have to give it some thought.
Any other discussion on that?
So with the second member, would we be saying a preference to an engineer then? Or just leave the other at-large member open? 'Cause
I'd say engineering or aquatic studies background or some, I'm thinking on my head here. Because you could have someone with a PhD in aquatics that is not an engineer.
Seems to me the structural issues are the most critical.
For the dam, yeah. That's, yeah, because we're talking about the dam, we're not talking about the water.
I
dam,
think
we're talking
so
about the
too,
dam.
and that's, I'm
Good
with Ty
point,
on
yeah.
that one.
Yeah, and the water levels
Yeah.
are set by court
Because-
decrees, so, there's really no flexibility
Yeah.
unless the county decide to go back to court. I don't know why they would, but,
Yeah, that's a good point, Ty.
The riparian could be, we could lean towards the aquatics, I think that's a good point. So,
As road commission chair, are you comfortable with this?
yes.
Yes, I just said 5, is that a good number, does everyone agree?
Yeah, I think, I like it. I don't think there's a lot of sense in, I see the numbers, we would have to go then to 7 if we didn't stick with 5, we would go to 7, and that seems kind of big for a dam authority.
Steve, is 5 seem to make sense?
Yeah, I think so. It's a pretty straightforward agenda typically. I'm not sure if we need to expand farther than 5, and 5 helps with the Open Meeting Act situation.
Any further discussion on that?
To recommend this board as discussed, to go to the Board of Commissioners. Are we sending this to the Board of Commissioners to approve? Okay. So
If there's agreement among,
okay. I recommend we move this forward to the Board of Commissioners.
Support.
Any further discussion?
so just for clarification, 5-member board, a seat reserved for a member of the road commission, seat reserved for a member of the Board of Commissioners, seat reserved for the drain commissioner, 2 at large, with priority giving to an engineering background and a riparian Lakeville,
Correct.
correct?
All those in support of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. We now
Put this
have,
on the November agenda.
and now we have the BPW.
I think we could. 3-person board, it seems like a lot to ask these, if we have, 5 to have to meet once a year, it just seems like a lot. I think we could pick 3. But I do like the kind of along the same, just personally along the same trend, I think one of those could be a Board of Commissioner, since we do have a stake in the bonds. The other, if it's the financial status, basically, I've never been to one of these meetings, so I would lean on you or somebody who's been to one to, who else would perhaps serve?
Question on the treasurer is the one that receives the payment, and as long as the payment's coming in, what more do we have to do? We have 4 more years of the bond, or 5.
Yeah.
Do we really need a BPW?
I believe by law we have to.
Okay.
That was part of the bond,
Okay.
so that it'll be reviewed by DPW.
Mr. Chairman? One of the options is just to have the drain commissioner act as the DPW. Because such a minimal amount of work, you essentially check to make sure that the bond's being paid and ask Noodle to submit a report indicating the financial status. That's a couple hours a year of work. And, I hate to load more under the drain commissioner,
I know.
but it's quite common in a lot of counties to have the drain commissioner responsible for the DPW as well. So, it might be just adding that responsibility to the drain commissioner's office and having that one person responsible for submitting that report.
Steve?
Well, it's called the Board of Public Works, right? So, I don't know, I guess my comment would be, County Road Commission's been doing it. It's 1 meeting a year, and it happens,
We have 4 meetings.
4 meetings? Do you have to have
4
one
meetings a year. You have to have 4 quarterly?
We're required to have 4 meetings a year.
by law?
I believe our bond documents say there has to be a DPW board. So I'm not sure we can change those. The membership we can change, but I think we still have to have a board.
So when you guys have that meeting, it's typically what, just before your regular meeting?
It's generally in conjunction with the meeting of the dam authority.
Oh, okay.
So we usually follow the dam authority meeting.
If-
Because it's all the road commissioners on it right now.
Right.
So since the road commissioners are all on the dam
Tell you
authority
about them.
meeting, then
What if,
Could you piggyback onto your regular county road commission meeting? And it would just be a 15-minute thing 4 times a year before that meeting? Would that be a lot, or, I don't know, you've done them as the county road commission, it's something you've already done, and it's kind of automatic for you.
or,
Linda?
well, if you piggyback it on the dam authority meetings, that's what you've been doing, you said?
yes.
We could do 2 things, another option, because that's a good one. The other one might be, is since the drain commissioner, a road commissioner, and a Board of Commissioners would be there, those three then could stay. And then the two members, the other two members, the citizen serving, wouldn't have to stay for that meeting. That would be a logical transition, unless the drain commissioner is overwhelmed, overworked, doesn't want to serve. If you are going to already be there, if it's not a meeting, you can generally, do you hit all those meetings, you personally?
Almost all,
'Cause we,
unless it's in harvest. But,
gotcha.
but,
Otherwise, because if it is too much, and if it's not something you want to serve on, we could say, okay, the road commissioner, the board of commissioners would stay after, and perhaps then the treasurer would come to that meeting, or his designee, his or her designee 4 times a year. That's another thought too. If you're really looking at just the financial end of whether the bonds are being paid, covers our bases, I don't know.
problem with 3 is that if 2 of the 3 bump into each other at the grocery store, they can't talk about anything pertaining to the
Right.
BPW, but it appears that they bumped into each other, so it is the appearance of quorum.
I don't think the public's really worried about what DPW members are talking about.
Yeah, on that board, I wouldn't worry too much, I
Yeah.
really wouldn't.
In almost 2 years, I've been doing the chair of the PPW, we've had 0 public comment and 0 people attend the meeting.
And I
So-
think if 3 DPW members run into the grocery store, they're not gonna be talking about DPW.
No.
I don't. But I think just my thoughts, Melinda's concept makes sense. If you have the 1 board member, from the commissioners, 1 road commission member, and the drain commissioner, that's a 3-member board. Really, it is financing. In the 10 years, you're right, I've never seen anyone in public, and I've never seen the meeting last more than just a few minutes anyway. So it's not a lot of extra work for the drain commission.
So piggyback it onto the dam authority?
Yep.
Well, legally you don't have to, but that would be logical sense. But if you structure that way with those 3 members, that seems to make sense. You could schedule meetings back to back.
I'll throw out a third option, just because I don't know how BPW relates to the dam authority at all. I mean, they're 2 separate
Yeah.
functions. So we could have the treasurer, the board chair, and the drain commissioner, a body of 3
Yeah.
that meet on a regular basis.
Sure.
I think we don't need to create a structure that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Right.
We would have to get a legal opinion to see if the treasurer, as elected official, can serve on the DPW board, since he's the one that has to give the reports. We can clarify that, though.
Yep, let's get that clarified then, but apparently a board of commissioners can,
I believe so, yes.
and so it's kind of the same thing, so I wonder,
Yeah.
but let's look into that. I do like that idea. Yeah, the only thing that made sense is if you are going to be gathering, you stay and you hit 2 birds with 1 stone, but it's true, it's not like it's a big meeting.
And Ty, when do those bonds expire?
28,
So,
right?
Yeah, if I could,
Yes.
the Board of Commissioners also has the option, should Empire or Cedar or Maple City decide that they want to have a community wastewater system, and the county decides to back the bonds, you could always expand the Board of Public Works at that time as well, if you felt you needed more different voices on the board. So obviously, you're not locking yourself in.
Yeah, because it says we can be 5, 7, or 9 members. BPW must include the drain commissioner. You can't get out of it.
No, can't dodge that one.
So, yep, it is a drain commissioner. And the rest can be appointed by the board of commissioners in addition to the drain commissioner. So that settles it. So Ty's suggestion was the drain commissioner, the treasurer, and the board chair.
Well, it says drain commissioner, 4, 6, or 8 other members.
Yeah, so maybe what I proposed.
So it's gotta be a
on-
4,
there.
6, or 8. You're right, 4, 6, or 8 others. Yeah, 4, 6, or 8 others.
Looks like it has to be a 5-er.
so 5, I think, would make the most sense.
Treasurer, drain commissioner, the board chair. So who else? Oh.
Gee whiz.
Ah.
There's a meeting I should have been at, apparently.
Two more, yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Two more. I would think we could maybe just go to two at large. Or we could, but I don't really know why we would have to have a road commissioner, if that's all,
I think
right?
just the way it was structured, and
Yeah.
there's no,
This doesn't
legal
say it.
requirements.
That we must have just threw it on them, so if it doesn't have to be, if we don't have to,
Looks like the dam authority is looking like the entity. If you don't want to make it complicated, it's already there in front of you.
except we have two people whose interest is in the dam. That's the only thing the only place I was going, is their interest is in the dam, and are they gonna be interested in whether the bonds are?
well, I'd say just like every other commission, we post them and see who applies. We have several boards that only meet once a year, some boards meet once every 2-3 years, we still get people that apply for them, and
We
the
just want to
commissioners
make sure
appoint
they
people.
come. I mean, we want them to attend the meetings.
yeah.
And if
But
if
maybe
it's
if
in
we do
that,
it-
that they're on the hook for a dam authority meeting, and they're gonna have to spend an extra 15 minutes
Yeah, if they're already there for
Board
the
of Public
meeting.
Work also.
Then I expect they
But
would.
just to make it clear, they are separate entities, you
Okay.
can't combine the two.
Okay,
Right.
sure.
But
Just
we
like
have them in
Brownfield and
the,
Land Bank, we have some joint members, but they're separate entities.
but we get them in the room,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's, you're thinking of attendance,
yeah.
so we get them in the room that way.
They're there,
They're
and you
there.
get it done.
Mhm.
That's pretty efficient, I think.
Or,
Unfortunately, but, yeah.
As efficient as,
or we could create the BPW that has 7 members of the Board of Commissioners, the Drain Commissioner, and the Treasurer, and make that as as a part of our regular meeting agenda. What I'm trying to do is avoid the meeting minute issue, the per diem issue.
that's a very good point.
Not a bad
It may
idea.
have to be a separate meeting before or after though.
right, so we have a,
Start it up and shut it down, and
Right.
start up the next one.
uh-huh.
We've done that for hearings and other things.
It certainly would keep the Board of Commissioners informed on the countdown of that, of those bonds. Okay, I so
That would be
moved.
the simplest
That'd be
way.
the 7th, or
Assuming that-
not 9.
Legally, the
Okay,
treasurer can.
did you catch it, Allison? So my motion would be to forward that to the Board of Commissioners. It would be the 7 Board of Commissioners plus the Drain Commissioner plus the Treasurer would serve as Board of Public Works.
So convert to a 9-member board. And these are the members.
Right.
Pending legal approval.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is just a
We can do
record.
that.
I can get that clear hopefully by November.
if not, we've got a few other scenarios we
Right.
discussed we could throw out there. Okay?
Well, it's someone from the treasurer's office that's not elected.
If we can do or his or her.
You can't have employees serve on,
Cannot.
on most cases, I don't know about
Got
that.
it. Got it.
Generally,
Yeah.
you can.
So we have a motion on the floor. Any further discussion on that? All those in support of the motion, say aye. Motion passes.
Well, let me get a legal opinion with
Support.
David Stoker, and also ask him legally what type of time frame is required, how much advance notice, and a proper motion. I have to assume the commissioners would endorse this recommendations.
Any other discussion items? Yes,
Couple.
Melinda.
So, couple things. One is, I guess this one, there would be a scheduled meeting, say like, so it would be March, June, September, and
Well, that'd be up to the members of the board of
as long as it's 14.
DPW to decide that.
Okay, all right. Yes, and for the dam authority, being this is going to be a board appointed by the Board of Commissioners, is this make it a per diem meeting?
Do they get paid now fee per diem?
Yes.
It's available.
Okay, per diem mileage would fall under our board
I'm quite sure
policy
it is.
for
I don't know, I haven't
appointments
made that
and,
very clear, though. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they do get mileage and per diem to come to meetings.
Okay, so that's,
That would not change.
that would be my
unless
intent. So when these motions come in November, that they would fall under our board of, the two people would come under our board
Let
appointments.
me check. If it's currently under that policy, then there's no reason to take action.
Okay,
Because you're just talking about the membership. You're not
Right,
talking about
yes, it's
the
membership.
structure. I'm pretty sure there is a per diem and mileage reimbursement.
but we would advertise for the two positions, like we do our regular boards and commissions, and find the two people that would serve a term and,
Yeah, we'd have to see legally what the process is
Okay.
to
I don't know.
convert. I'm guessing there's a timeline that you have to have.
All right, and possibly by resolution, since it was done by resolution before.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I'll get an updated legal opinion on that from
Okay.
Mr. Stoker.
Any other discussion?
I'm hoping to talk to him Thursday on a different topic, so maybe I can get this, get fairly soon.
Says we have-
Any board member comments?
guess not.
Any public comments? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Very good.
All those in support, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. You have two records.